Hey everybody, welcome to this case study. I'm Sukh, the founder of online fitness business, and today I'm joined by Steve McGrath of Get Results Training and Get Results Mentoring as well.
Coaching Academy.
Coaching Academy, that's the one. So as you can see, I probably need to let Steve do his own intro. But very quickly, me and Steve worked together for around about a year, helping Steve to grow what was already a great business, to be fair, already doing pretty well. A great start to life in the industry. But Steve, I'll let you tell a bit of backstory, because obviously you've got a bit of a story prior to entering the industry, and then just talk about how things have gone since then.
Yeah, so I started out as a science teacher, then realised I hated the bureaucracy of teaching, but actually really enjoy teaching itself. Started working as a personal trainer. I'd always been to the gym. I copped out of my chemistry degree at uni because I thought it was boring and ended up doing sports science, which I somehow managed to turn into a science teaching qualification. I think it's a bit of a stretch, but I was pretty good at GCSE at A-level, so they let me slide on it. Ended up doing that, PT'd. I then had an accident where I snapped both of my knees, ended up having both my patella tendons replaced. Wasn't sure whether I really had a life going forward standing on a gym floor, because it hurt to stand up for more than 30 seconds. And crutches don't really work very well moving around gym equipment. So I took a job back teaching again, just while I got myself back on my feet. Physio bills are very expensive. And if anyone's worked through the NHS, who are saviours, they also sign you off as competent if you can get up and down the stairs and go to the toilet on your own. So I had a lot of excess physio to actually get me to be a normal human being. Was out of work for a very long period of time. So went back into teaching for a little bit, sold my soul for a couple of paychecks, and then left then to start up an online training company. Went online purely because I didn't ever want my income to be based on my kind of location or situation anymore. And B, I genuinely didn't know if I could actually do any more in-person PT sessions. I just wasn't physically capable of it. So started everything. Luckily, I'd worked in a couple of transformation facilities before, had a pretty decent backlog of transformations already. I like to think that I'm not bad on camera. I don't look great on camera, but I talk all right sometimes. If I talk enough, some of it comes out well. So ended up picking up business pretty quickly, doing basically not fuck all, but very primitive, like marketing, like as in, here's my transformation, click the poll, yes.
Yeah, getting people results, right?
Yeah. Obviously, everything I've always done, I've always focused around the business aspect of it. But the speed of the business took off because of A, the results that I'd got in the past, and B, just a very, very, very simple business structure. And then when I realized that I actually was running a fairly successful business, but knew fuck all about business, I then got in contact with Sukh, who we had a bit of a crash course over a year on a lot of different stuff, launching new programs, actual marketing, like real marketing, which was useful. Staff, hiring staff, firing staff, back-end systems. And yeah, now I run a proper business now, which I'm quite happy about, rather than just be a PT who earns a fair bit of money on a computer, which I think was we did a lot over the course of a year, like quadrupled revenue or something like that. But I think the main thing was learning how to actually run a fucking business and be a business owner and be a business person and not just a coach. Because that's
like, not to undersell yourself, mate. I think you from what I know, you've got a great business at the minute as well, and things are going very well. So maybe just talk a little bit about where you were at when we first started. So any numbers that you want to share, but also just kind of like structure the business, what you're struggling with, what was kind of challenges and opportunities, and then we can kind of talk about how we overcame challenges and took advantage of the opportunities that you have as well, and solved some problems.
Yeah. So when I got in touch with Sukh, I was doing fairly all right, to be honest. I was anywhere between kind of 8 and 10 grand a month. But it was a single coaching model. So it was literally what everyone would understand as your typical run of the mill online coaching. The brand was doing okay, but it was basically just off my back. And it was single clients, one-to-one transformation style stuff. And then it got to a point where the only real way forward that I really could think of was to raise my prices, which I did, which worked for a little while, and then to take on more clients. And then I think I got to a point where I was doing like 92 clients, and I was like, fuck this. Like,
it's grim.
Yeah. And it was literally just, and it became less about coaching and more of a transactional thing of more clients make more money. And I was like, nah, there's got to be a better way of doing this. So then I got in contact with Sukh, mainly for the private style mentoring, like the one-to-one stuff, because I felt like I was at a point where generic advice wasn't really going to help that much. And I'd done most of the other stuff previously anyway, and I kind of exhausted it. So then we got to work on, adding more products, again, adding infrastructure, tracking things better, having a better back-end system, having more sophisticated marketing that we could actually track and understand rather than post and hope and wait for the clients to come to you kind of stuff. And it just felt a lot more systemized, and we ended up with a pretty fucking solid business at the end of it, I would think. A couple of staff members, a couple of back room. It's good.
That's what I was going to ask. So the team then, I think it was you and Lewis was maybe doing a bit?
Lewis was doing my my errands at first, basically. So any shit that I didn't want to do, I basically made Lewis do. And at first, I was paying him and I was just making up shit for him to do most of all.
Yeah.
So we brought him into the business as a coach and grew his business as well. And he's a fucking pretty good coach in his own right. And a very good asset to the business as a whole, because I learned it and then told him to do it. He now understands it as well. So he could probably run it. Don't tell him that. He'll ask for a raise, but he could probably run it on his own at this point with me just managing, which is quite cool.
Yeah. I mean, we chatted before we started recording about Lewis and the fact that, he's probably had a great journey to come into coaching, like learning from the right person and being open to learning as well, because he's really open to learning. He's got, for any of you who want to check out Lewis, he's got some amazing results recently. There's a transformation that he posted. It's just one of the best I've seen for a while. It's so good. So what does the team look like at the minute?
So we've got 4 coaches who each have their own client base. Each one of the coaches are doing fairly well, have as much clients as they want, really, for the most part. We have the GR8 program, which is a group program that we all run together. And then we have back-end staff now as well. So we've got Shannon, who does all our digital marketing stuff and basically does all the social media for us. Sarah, who is out in sunny Dubai with Sukh, funnily enough, who does all our admin and payroll and stuff like that. And then we've got like assorted other contractors that take care of, like, I say graphics, don't use them as much as I probably should, but assorted media things that I hate, which means that eventually, I've had the time to open up a whole nother business and pretty much make the same as I was making when I was coaching.
Yeah, which is real, right? Just having that time and headspace as well, as much as anything, to kind of think and strategize and be creative in your ideas, which is really important to me. It's something that I always find important. I have to have headspace, to almost thinking time. So cool. So before we end, obviously, I'm just very conscious of your time. I think if you could give a bit of advice in terms of, what the most important things that changed or improved over the course of our time working together, or just in general, during, your pretty significant rise and increase in and growth in your business, what were the key maybe milestones or key things that happened that, made a big difference?
I think it's always really cliche that when people say this, so please take it with a fucking pinch of salt, that it's not like some wanky, invest in yourself kind of shit. But investing back into the business was something that I've always done quite freely. I've always paid top dollar for the best people to do stuff. Obviously I was working with you. I hired Steve to do some of the creative media stuff for us. I paid staff. I pay my staff extremely well compared to other online coaching companies. But doing that has always ended up benefiting me. Now I'm tight. Don't let that fool you. I am tight. If I pay for something, I absolutely make the most use out of it that I can.
Just wait down a sec. What cars do you drive, mate?
Okay, I'm tight on most things. I have what we call council estate rapper complex.
I love it.
So yeah, I like to live my life like I'm a 1980s rapper from Brooklyn.
Yeah, and like, just to kind of, obviously I'm just playing with you, but like Steve and I have spoken in the past of like why it's important, obviously, and you know, myself and Steve care about providing for our family, looking after our parents, and you know, the more important stuff like shiny cars and watches and
I saw
whatever.
you
But
Rolex on that photo from years ago.
what's that? Oh yeah. I've been there, mate. I've got the watches. You just don't see them on Instagram. That's all. Cool. Okay, so you know, I suppose before we end, just you know, any other advice that you have for any trainers, coaches out there who are watching this, you know, who are more ambitious and looking to grow something comparable to what you've managed to grow so far?
I think always looking at it from a few different standpoints. Like I think before you do anything in your business, you've got to put the different hats on. So you've got to look at it from the standpoint of a coach. You've got to look at it from the standpoint of a business owner. And then you've got to just look at it from the standpoint of being a conscientious person. And if all three of those things agree with it, then it's a good idea and crack on with it. I would be very careful about going forward with something if one of those hats doesn't agree. Because as you grow, if we're aiming at this for the more kind of ambitious group of people that are trying to grow something quite large, there's various decisions you can make that fuck off one of those hats. You can make really amazing coaching decisions that don't work from a business standpoint and run you into a hole. You can make really great business decisions that aren't maybe the best for your clients or the best ethically. And that would be my kind of, if you're looking to really do something really, really at large scale, you can sell. It's not hard to make money. Like if we're being truly honest, like it comes down to basic maths. If you pump enough advertising and get enough like return, you can make whatever you want. But it's whether you're happy and you're proud of that business at the end of it. So I think definitely working in something where all three kind of ego things of you, that's a really shit word, but all three kind of parts of yourself are all in sync with it. It will work a lot better than just kind of trying to pull in different directions.
Love it. Cool. All right, mate. And then if anybody wants to find you, where should we send them or where should they come looking?
Don't look at the website because it's fucked at the minute. So you probably stuff at Instagram, which is Steve_getresults.
I'll put Steve's Instagram on the screen now. Cool, Steve. Thank you very much for joining us. I appreciate your time. Have a great day.